Sunshine's here, bro. Important win for us today. What did you make of the win and the performance overall by Man United today?
Performance-wise, not great. Didn't expect the performance to be anywhere near as good as it has been. I think when you'll know yourself, when you're mentally shot in any sport, it takes a while to regain that. And the only way you can regain that is by getting a result at the end of it. Sometimes you just need results to perk up your confidence. Now, I made this conversation, I think, off stream before when I spoke about when things aren't going right for you as a club, as a team. Sometimes you need, as you per se, Terry, football gods to be on your side, man. And sometimes a performance won't always get you the result, but sometimes if you do enough to get the ball over the line, over the net, you need rewarded for that. And these decisions that continue to happen are adding to the pressure because we're not being rewarded for these small little wins that we get in certain games, whether that's a referee's decision, a VAR decision, an official in the VAR, it doesn't matter. But these all add to the pressure when they don't come off and you should be getting them. We saw it with the Tottenham situation, saw it with the Arsenal situation, the handballs, the offsides, the lines that they were using. If we'd have taken 4 points, and I'll be fair to Arsenal or Tottenham there, if we'd have taken 4 points off those teams who are at the top of the Premier League right now, we're probably having a different conversation. Because the confidence that would have come from those games would have been completely different going into the next game and the next game. And every time you get decisions such as this, when you're underperforming or not performing well, you need part of football luck to be on your side. You need the balance of the bias to play just to be even. And we're not getting the rub of the green even for love nor money. We're not getting none of it. I think Man United have been shagged in the past 3 seasons more than any other team, and I'd say that in Europe, in top leagues, based on decisions that shouldn't be either happening or should be going in the right direction. And we're calling it out for other clubs. But when you're in dire straits, and yes, we are in desperation mode, so I'm not even saying this as a genuine side swipe to the performance, because the performance was disgusting. It was awful. And I didn't expect anything else. Other fans may have. Fair play, that's on you. But for me personally, I wanted the result today. But when you go and put the ball in the back of the net and you click up the Johnny Evans header as well, that comes to mind when I was streaming bloody in a snooker place because I had to go and get all my music downloaded that time when I was, a couple months, I think it was about 3-4 weeks ago. You know, when that header went in, those are the small little wins that can literally give you the confidence in your team. And when you don't get that and you feel like the whole world's against you, it's very hard to come out of that. So at this stage where Manchester United are at the moment, we need the right decisions to be called. Consistency. Whether it's a Man United badge, Liverpool badge, no matter what, we need these decisions, because if we're not performing well, but we do enough to get the ball over the line, and we do it legally well within the laws of the game, then we should be having a little bit more luck than what we're getting right now. Because sadly, those are moments where you can either lose or gain more trust within a fan base. And listen, I'm not a big supporter of Ten Hag's decisions in the last couple of 4 or 5 games, but making earlier substitutions, which he should have been doing a lot sooner. Again, don't know about the Varane situation, but starting Garnacho, again, he's not got the maturity. However, we don't have many options there anyway. So he's running off limited resources under the immense pressure that he's also brought upon himself, but also what the league is doing to him and the officials. And I just don't see how we can still sit here as United fans because we're scared of rivals giving us a laughing stock. Like, it's cool. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, but I'll continue to call it out because this is ridiculous.
No, to be fair, like, listen, I've had my banter with Arsenal fans when they had this ref conspiracy thing going on, you know, like tinfoil hats and that. But now I properly understand how you can feel like that. There's no conspiracy against Man United, but I do think there is a bias. I'm starting to think there is a bias. And I think Arsenal fans, they understand that bias because it happened to them a few years ago. When you're a big team and you're struggling, it feels like they're just looking to just add to it. That's what it feels like, because the little things that they get away with. I saw Paulinho today. He hacked down Bruno on a counter attack.
No yellow card. He could have had potential 2 yellow card offences today.
It literally, I'm saying that like, but hold on.
Well, he should have been sent off, and no one's talking about it. He should have got booked. He got booked, but he should have been booked in the first 7 minutes, which means he should have been off the football pitch today. And you're right. And I've called this out so many times recently, and there's actually an interesting comment here. Again, it's having a dig at me, but I want to address it because I like to. It says Terry will never see it that way, talking about what you were saying. He only cares what his Arsenal gang would think of him. But that just isn't true, because if you watch the beginning 15 minutes of the show, I called it out and quite clearly said, if Fulham score that goal today, it's given. If City score that goal in 5 minutes' time, it will be given. Although technically by law they're right, I guarantee you other teams get away with it. And I do think there's a bias. And people always call me out for saying that you don't ever change your mind, you're a hypocrite. No, I do change my mind. The irony is, I never change my mind on things. But then when I do change my mind, they call me a hypocrite. I love it, right? For me, it's like I used to say, stop moaning about these refereeing decisions. I've changed my mind on that. It's something that, as a fan of football, my mind is different. That booking that didn't happen after 7 minutes changes games. Those little decisions change games. It's like someone explained it to me once. They just said it's like if you know, it's like a butterfly effect. If you roll you roll a stone down a snowy hill, that could turn into an avalanche. You just don't know. And Paulini not getting booked early enables him to be the aggressive, brilliant player that he is. Means he's got at least one more cynical foul in him, which could stop you from scoring a goal. That has to be taken away. You know, if Casemiro made that sliding tackle 7 minutes in, he is getting booked. And by the way, every club has a player or two that wouldn't get away with it. Xhaka or Arsenal will never get away with it. But we know that Rodri 100% is getting away with that, because it takes a lot for him to get booked. So there are certain biases. You also have to look at the penalties that have been awarded. Since Jurgen Klopp, about 2 years ago, complained publicly about the amount of penalties that Man United get, since that point, most of the top six have had between 13 and 16 penalties between them. Man United in that 2 year period have had 4 penalties in the Premier League. 4 penalties. It doesn't make sense. There is definitely, I wouldn't call it a conspiracy, but there is definitely a bias. Almost like, how can we not award this? How can we get rid of this? How do we? And how can we? Yeah, I mean, no, conspiracy and bias is not the same thing. Conspiracy is, do they sit in a room beforehand and go, we have to ruin Man United? No, but I think there's almost an element of, we don't get. This is the truth. They don't get as much shit when they give bad decisions against us. But if they let us get away with something, and this is absolutely right here, whenever United get one wrong decision in their favor, the media goes crazy. And that is this is bang on. It's that subconscious, I'm going to get crap if Man United get something they shouldn't get. So they go against us. Because when Liverpool's goal wasn't given against Spurs, the whole football world stood up for them. As an example, when Wolves didn't get their penalty against us, the whole football world stood up for them. When Cucurella had the red card pulling the hair, the whole football world stood up for them. When Man United get something go against us, the whole world laughs. When we get something go our way, the referee and the TV companies never shut up about it. And they are hypocrites. I saw this tweet someone put out the other day. I can't remember the guy's name, but I don't want to plagiarize. But it shows all the headlines when Man United won the League Cup. All their video headlines. And it's not that big a cup. Why are they over celebrating? Doesn't mean anything. When we got knocked out of it, they said, what a disgrace. They can't win the trophy. This is terrible. It's terrible they're out this early of the competition when they're the champions. When we won it, it wasn't an important cup. When we go out of it, it's the biggest disgrace in the world. So there are clear media biases that only Manchester United suffer. Clear. I think Arsenal get them as well. That's why I called it out a lot last year. And my reason for doing that, and it still irks some Man United fans, I did it because I just wanted to have the credibility when calling out the same nonsense towards my club. Because again, if I only call it out when it happens to Man United, you are a hypocrite. But I don't want to. That's the irony of calling me one. I get the same people that give me shit for backing other clubs when things go wrong are the same people that call me a hypocrite. It's like, literally, in my personal opinion, that's the opposite of being a hypocrite. And yeah, from my Klopp got Fergie's playbook. Absolutely. And I do think that's one thing about the club. I think our manager should risk a touchline ban to fight out against this. He really should. He should do something. That for me is much better than, like we said, the penalty City got changed the game. Come out and be more forthright. Take all the attention away from the players and the performance. Get yourself in trouble. Because that is what Fergie was a master at. When Klopp said what he said, Liverpool struggling at the time, got all the attention away from how his team were playing and onto that. It's smart. So I'm not blaming Jurgen Klopp. I'm blaming the authorities for falling for it. And I'm also looking at my club and management and saying, you've got to fight fire with fire. And that's why one of the reasons Fergie was so great is he won every single mind game and every single battle that he's ever got into. And we need to be better at that, 110%.